it's amazing how many little things that you would take for granted, having two hands or having two legs, and then the fact that now I have this bone implant where I can feel vibrations and differences. I've explained it to some people, not to offend anybody, but I know when you lose your sight, generally your other senses enhance. I think because my foot is directly anchored into my femur, which is, one of the largest bones in your body, you got a lot of feedback from that bone. I've been at conferences with Integrum where I've stood on one piece of carpet and then stood on another piece of carpet and explained to whoever I was talking to, I could feel the difference between those two pieces of carpet, and they couldn't. So osteoperception, I think, is even better than a regular person's, honestly. Wow. Just because and it's just my theory. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a medical doctor. But just because that femur is so massive, any tiny little feedback in it, you're going to feel. And since my feedback is direct, I don't have to go through the bones in my foot or the bones in my shin or the bones in my lower leg or my knee, right? I'm getting any feedback from my foot is going directly into my femur. So I was a combat engineer. Me and the other squad leader were putting one of the guard posts together, and I jumped off I was standing on a forklift to square up the roof, and when I jumped off, I landed on 40 pounds of homemade explosive. Luckily, only 13 of it actually detonated. Otherwise, I've been smoked. I was an inpatient for the entire month of December, and then they moved me to Navy Medical Center, San Diego, Balboa, and I did rehab there for over a year, probably. When I went through my rehab process in San Diego, I just became really good friends with my physical therapist. Put it forth to her that if she heard of another trial, because at the time it was all medical trials inside the U.S., if she heard another trial, let me know so I could put my name in for it. And then the one in Walter Reed opened up to a larger number of patients. I jumped in. That's when I got introduced to Integrum. They're the runs. It was their type of implant that they were using at the Walter Reed trial. I've done pretty much a lot of the same activities I did pre-injury and in sockets that I am doing in osseointegration. It's just a lot more efficient, and I can push a lot farther. Because it went from being extremely highly active and always outdoors and always doing something in the Marine Corps and always camping. And I grew up in the Northwest, so I've always been camping and rock climbing and doing all those high level activity things to, if you give that a 10, after my injury, I went, even the activities that they have to do that are adaptive, you're still only getting, 30 to 40% of what you had. So now I'm down to a 3 or 4. And then now with my new Oprah bone implants, I'm back up to I wouldn't say a 10, but probably 6, 7, 8 even. Nice. As far as activity level. I can snowboard by myself now. I can, driving my truck is a lot easier. Driving my car is a lot easier. Working in my shop is a lot easier now with, because I have my prosthetic arm to use, where you can imagine trying to work on anything with only one hand is hard.